What did the song do to you when you wrote the song? Did it change your attitude? I mean, within? Do you still have the nightmares, maybe?
I haven't had them for quite some time, actually. It's been probably about 5 months or so since they've occurred. The songs are cathartic in nature. All of our songs are cathartic, and so they're meant to deal with the severities of life experience, and it's therapeutic. So it has definitely helped.
So, last. Okay. Well, maybe you can say, well, maybe once you've written it, that maybe it
Set yourself free from it, maybe.
No, not really, but maybe for a certain extent, maybe. I don't know. Do you believe? I don't know.
I think that as long as it stays inside you, it festers.
Yeah.
And you need to get it out.
But do you ever think you will totally get it out of your system?
No. No matter what happens when you're wounded deeply, a scar remains.
Yeah.
That will never go away.
There are 2 songs on the album that were actually written before the first album. The last question, because I have to stop. Why revisit those 2 songs? How come?
Well, when we sat down to talk about where we wanted to go with this record, I said to them, to the other guys, where my mind is at and with what's happened to me over the past few years, I want you guys to throw at me the darkest, nastiest, most brutal stuff you can. I want this to be us trying to revisit the darkness that gave birth to this band in the first place. And so these were 2 songs that never made the sickness.
How come?
You have to make a final selection of songs when it comes time to put the record together. And they were great tracks, but were a little bit too dated at the time. And the current versions of them are actually quite different than they were back then. Musically, it's much more enhanced. It's a much more powerful reproduction of both of the versions of those songs. And so since we were going towards that spirit anyway, it seemed appropriate to do a modern version of 2 of the songs that came from even slightly before that era.
And lyric-wise, did it change?
A bit, very, very minor, not much. The most of the change that was done was musical.
Funny then that your lyrics still,
they still reign true.
Yeah,
they still reign
you can
true.
stand by them.
Oh, well, they're still just as poignant now as they were then. Perfect Insanity, for example, is something that's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. But a song like Divide, it holds its meaning as much as it did then, certainly now.
Okay. Can you explain in one line what the song is about?
Sure.
Yeah. Can you explain, Divide?
Divide?
Yeah.
It's just a song that's against people's constant obsession with unifying everything. It's encouraging individuality and being your own person and being yourself.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.